Every time I'm looking in the mirror, I can see that I'm starting to look like my biological father, especially with the whole goatee thing, because my biological father, he tends to have a goatee. So yeah, and I have a goatee, so I'm starting to look like my biological father. I hope this, okay, that ain't spilling. I bought some fries and I'm gonna be eating, since I didn't go to break. Speaking of break, oh my gosh, I've worked, oh my gosh, in my new department as backup manager, right then and there. I spent like 1 week, I spent 3 weeks up in this department. The first week, it was the training a little bit. But the thing is, the training wasn't really being trained because I already knew some of the stuff. Stocking is easy. Doing all the zebra work is easy. It's just all the extra stuff, like, yeah, all that stuff. But my training was, for the most part, I didn't really need a bunch of training. But anyways, I didn't officially be in my current department until the second week. The second week when I was by myself, when I was handling the department while the manager was on vacation. He enjoyed his vacation. I'm happy. I kind of made him upset yesterday about not clearing out a cart full of back stock. So my fault on that one, which I highly doubt he's gonna see this video, but my fault. So anyways, because he seemed like he was upset at me, so there's that part. Anyway, so there's that part. Yeah, through these 2 weeks of me officially working in my new department, my current department, I'm gonna say current department, my current department, I only went to break 3 times through this whole entire week, and I'm working a minimum of 9 hours. Like, well, I worked 6 hours, because I was late yesterday, like late by 4 hours two days ago. So for 2 days ago. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, I only been to break 3 times. 3 times through the whole entire times me officially being in this apartment. Why didn't I go on break? Why? Because I had to make sure I stay up on the work. I like to at least complete half of the work before I go to break. Anyways, that aside, the government is panicking. That's today's topic. The government is panicking, and I love it. I love the fact that the government is panicking, and they're just complaining and everything that we're not living comfortable under their little rules or whatever. I saw this other sparkling water. It looks good. This peach mango is pretty good. Anyway, so let's start with inflation. The government all of a sudden, ever since Biden got in office, decided to raise taxes. Write that on my... Okay, that's already on this. Decided to raise taxes and just jump up the bills and stuff like that. Look, I understand the pandemic played a role in this, but I already have my own controversial takes about the pandemic. I literally call it the pandemic, fake vid or whatever. They wanted to do an economy reset, so they did that by simply taking more money from us and stuff like that, by giving us a fake virus and everything. I do feel like Trump, he should have did a better job when handling that virus or whatever, that pandemic or whatever. And that caused, people not work because they were so afraid of the virus, of them getting it and stuff like that. I don't know what's wrong with people. People just so afraid of getting it. This dude need to keep his eyes on the road. He got a dog in the car and everything. And the van he's driving is a white van. How convenient. White van, that's the first, vehicle I've ever driven. That was a few months ago. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. People was so afraid during that virus or whatever, during that pandemic or whatever, pandemic, and they didn't question nothing. They just put on their mask, and everything, putting on mist and everything on their glasses or whatever, having all kinds of gloves and stuff like that, and all the social distancing. It was just complete junk. It was just a complete junk or whatever. I unfortunately enforced that junk when I was working back at Amazon in 2020. Yeah, that junk was crazy. I wasn't planning on to do that, but the only reason why I have to have a sit down duties because my work compensate duties or whatever, work compensation or whatever, what's it called? I forgot what it's called, but we have work limitations or whatever, where you can't, because my knee got injured and stuff like that, which I'm still suffering it today. So yeah, so you know that was crazy or whatever. Apartments, I forgot to add that on the list. Bill/apartments. No, housing. I'll say call it housing. Yeah. So so the only duty they had was cleaning totes, and camera, temperature cameras or whatever. I was like, I only heard camera, so I chose camera because I wasn't gonna clean nothing. Next, you know, I'm enforcing COVID and junk like that, putting up the thing in Amazon. Rather their temperature is too high or whatever. Making sure people have their mask on, social distancing people and stuff like that. Whatever that was. Social distancing people and stuff like that. What was some other thing? Had me watch the lunchroom and stuff like this, just sitting there all day, watch the lunchroom and see if they was keeping their mask on and everything. You know, all that junk. All that junk. I hated that. I was enforced something I really hated. But you know, at the time I had to pay bills, so I had to make a sacrifice, unfortunately. And I was wearing my stupid ass mask, whatever. So because, you know, I hate this junk. I hate the fact I wore a mask and everything. Not because I thought the virus was real, but because I was what's the word, being a P word. I wasn't standing up for myself. So yeah. And for the record, I'm fully unvaccinated. I haven't gotten not one of them vaccines at all. This video might get demonetized by me talking about this COVID junk, but I'm a small channel anyway. Who am I? Anyway, so yeah, that aside and everything, inflation happened and stuff like that. Because inflation happened and everything, the government, they can't seem to understand that. Why we are happy. Why are we not happy with them just raising everything? Just raising the rent, raising taxes, taking more of our money because they owe China so much money and stuff like that. They complaining, like they over here really upset and panicking at us just because we're not happy about them raising the standards of living, and they don't like that. I don't know much to say about that. Let's see. They can't understand. And the thing is, they really can't understand because they really don't understand what it's like to be in our shoes. To be middle class students. We're not even middle class. We're like lower middle class now. We're poor people, okay? We're poor basically. And then they over here complaining like, oh, just work more. Just work more hours. Just work more hours. Get more money. They don't understand because they were more likely born in a financially stable family. Born rich. People in the government, they rich. Some people in the government, they rich. And they don't understand what it's like to be middle class or whatever. The middle class has been pushed out or whatever. I'm seeing all these nice houses and stuff like that. I'm wondering, what if I live in that? As if I'd ever be able to live in a house like that. In my area in Atlanta, the city outskirts of Atlanta, the houses look really nice. I'm literally looking at some nice houses right here, right now on this video, and they nice looking. And I can't. I'm not gonna know what it's like to ever live in them. I've always lived in low poverty neighborhoods. So yeah. So the government, they can't understand. They just think just get more money. Just buy a house. Just get a better job. Just get a better education. Like, okay, we're trying, and the standards of that is they ask for too much and they don't want to hire people. They don't want to give us stuff. So yeah, now I'm gonna do that point over because I don't know what to say. Yeah, bills and housing. They are complaining the fact that we can't pay our bills. They don't understand why we can't pay our bills. So now we're over getting loans to try and pay these bills and everything. But now we can't pay our bills because of credit and stuff like that. Our credit score is being affected a lot. I don't know the stats as far as the stats as far as, you know, credit scores like. But I do know for sure people in my generation, our credit score tend to not be the ideal what the government wants and what landlords want. Anyway, so these bills and housing and everything. One thing I've been seeing, like, they've been building all new apartments. Like the apartment I'm staying as of now, which I'm gonna move out hopefully in June or July, whatever. We paying $2,000 in rent, $2,000 in rent, and then we paying like, I don't know, $170 something in the electric bill, and a little bit of the gas bill too. That's a whole lot of money. And this is a 2-bedroom that barely have no space up in there. And they over here want to complain about how we throw away our trash and stuff like that, saying it got to be inside this kind of bag or whatever. It's trash. Anyway, so yeah, I'm seeing new apartments down here in Atlanta being built, and the chances of them apartments being rented to people is so little. Like, I feel like there's gonna be in fact, I think there is something online that's I seen some stat report or whatever, that there's a lot of houses that's just sitting there with nobody in it. Both old and new houses just sitting there. That goes for cars too. Cars are over here sitting there on the lot. All these new cars, even old and used cars, are sitting there on the lot and not being bought because people can't afford it. Like, and the government and these corporate America can't understand why they're not selling the cars. Why? Because y'all keep raising up the prices, and then the standard of living is being raised up on top of that. So yeah, what's bothering me the most, as far as, you know, bills and housing and stuff like that, the fact that they're building all these houses, and they just sitting there empty. They over here talking about they was able to buy a house at like, I don't know, $32,000 a mortgage or whatever house, a nice, good, decent house at $3,200 something dollars. No, $32,000 back in the 50s or whatever. And then they over here raising the cost of living. Them houses costing like I don't know, like $500 at minimum $500,000, and that's barely the amount of money we make right now. Like, and they over concerned like, why these houses are empty? Why these apartments are empty? They can't understand that. They just want to live in their house and be lazy. No, we're not being lazy. Nuh-uh. We're actually trying hard to meet the standards, but all y'all do is keep jumping it up. It's starting to rain now. But I don't record videos inside since my modern family's all in it. Babies. The government, they see that we not over here, that the people my age and 20 something like that are not having babies more often. We're not bringing more people in this world. Why? 2 reasons. And I'm going to give even women credit for this. People, because they keep inflating everything, raising the standard of living with all this money that they're demanding from us and stuff like that, we can't afford children. That's the thing. People back then, they got with each other because they loved each other and stuff like that, and they were taking risks, and they were just listening to the government and stuff like that. Government telling us, have babies and stuff like that. And people back then, in the old days, was actually doing it. People wasn't questioning the government. They were just doing what they told. And they were, oh my gosh, it's starting to rain. Stop raining. Okay, now it's generally raining. What the heck? How long can I last in this rain? How long can this phone last in the rain? It's actually raining now. What the heck? Hold up. Shoot. I don't care. I'm just gonna have to get wet anyway. So yeah, the baby situation, they over here complaining and stuff like that just because we ain't having babies. Like I said, the older generation, they have, my pen messed up now because of the water. They were taking risks and everything. Now, because we can see that the cost of living is way bigger and stuff like that, and the requirements are just so large and everything, we're not going to take the risk and bring children's world and let them struggle. That's the thing. The government, they don't care about nobody. They don't care about poor people. They don't care about middle class people. All they care about is the rich and themselves. That's it. Because we don't want to take risks no more and have more children and stuff like that. This don't look right. It's not even. Come on now, be even. Because we're not over here taking risks and bringing more babies into the world. Bringing more babies in the world. Man, this is gonna bother me when I see this video back. Okay, that looks bad. Because we're not bringing more babies in the world, they're telling us to, but we're not, because they just simply raise the standard of living and the cost of living, and they're just panicking and they don't like that. So now they're figuring out, oh, incel men, men need to just do better. Oh, women, y'all need to lower your standards or whatever. Look, I understand females, they have these delusional standards. I literally feel like I can't meet their standards, which I feel like I'm not. Some woman just gonna have to settle for me, which God forbid she do that, but if that's what she want to do, then that's fine. Yeah, we're not gonna sit there, Gen Z, we're not gonna sit there and bring babies in this world. Now it's about to rain hard now. We're not gonna sit there and bring babies up in this world knowing very well we can't pay them for their lives. We're not gonna do that. No. Okay, the camera's fine. So yeah, dating. Yeah, that brings me into dating as well. The dating part, we're not gonna sit. Yeah, the dating. Yeah, we're not gonna sit there and date because our dating is screwed up because we're looking for specific kinds of partners or whatever. We're looking specifically for a partner that can help us raise a family and finance our lifestyles. That's what we're looking for. That's what women are looking for. Men, for the most part, we don't really care like that. We don't really care like that. Now I have to crop these videos together. So anyways, yeah, I'm doing this in the rain. See, look, my junk over here wet. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Women, they're being way more selective now. And they've been doing this for throughout history. They want to make sure they have a man that can take care of them. And I have no problem with that. They need to be able to pay the bills and take care of the children. I have absolutely no problem with that. But the thing is, females, women, they're deciding not to do that. They're deciding not to settle. And because of that, the government is also complaining. In Korea, okay, the women here in America, I know I might repeat myself. The women in America, they see the economy as this, since they're in the market now, since they can work now and everything, they see the bullshit, so they're not going to bring no children in the world either. So men, we're not going to bring no children in the world, and women, they're not going to bring no children in the world. I heard some study in Korea, Kim Jong-un, whatever the fuck his name is, his tyrant supreme asshole or whatever, is over here crying just because the women ain't having children. Look, I understand the concern. That's your country. You want to bring more Koreans up in there. I get that. It's just right. Asian people. I don't know. I hope that don't get wet. My charge don't get wet. So anyway, so he over here crying just because the women not having children no more. Why? Because y'all probably made the increase the cost of living. So yeah. Now, Generation Z, we're not working. We don't want to work. We see the bullshit in corporate America too. We see it all. We see that we're trying, in this education thing, we over here going to college because that's what we're told to do. We're told to go to college to get a good degree, a master's, doctor's or whatever is higher, a bachelor's or whatever. We're spending all this time, money and energy, mental energy on top of that, going to college, getting educated, and now that we over here looking for work, we're looking for good corporate American jobs and stuff like that, you know, good high-paying jobs, so we can pay the bills. We're trying hard to be good citizens when these corporate Americans, they don't want to hire us because they think, oh, you have a master's degree, you think you're better, so we're not going to hire you. And then on top of that, these corporate Americans, they over here making budget cuts by not hiring people. So now they're short-staffed, and now all this overtime is being put on the short staff, Well, at the same time, they don't want to pay overtime. So now, this corporate America is expecting all this work to be done within 8 hours. No, even less hours, because they don't want to give us full-time anyway. They don't want to give us full-time either. My job sure don't. I'm labeled as part-time, but I'm getting full-time hours. So anyways, corporate America, they over here not hiring people, purposely being short-staffed, and then when customers complain, they're not hearing the customers. They're not hearing the customers. So us Gen Z, and even if and okay, they over corporate America and the government, stuff like that, saying we're not working hard enough. We're not working hard enough. They put all this. They put five. I'll say I'm being a little realistic. They put in 3-person work on one person. On one person. I literally experience that every day in my current job. It's not my manager's fault. Don't get me wrong. It's not my manager's fault. It's their managers, the district managers and corporate and junk like that. They the ones keep setting these standards, saying do this, do that, do this, do that, do that. Okay, no. Okay, when there's no work, they want to complain and say, why aren't you doing no work? There's no work. It's slow today, or whatever. So now they complaining, saying, well, so no, you have to be doing this. You have to be doing it. You have to be working. And they don't want us to go on a break. I literally didn't go on break today because I had to, finish my duties. So yeah, and then they're complaining that Gen Z don't want to work. I understand why we don't want to work, because these corporate Americas, they keep making all these high standards, making promises they can't keep. I made a whole entire video about that. They're making promises that they can't keep. They paying us minimum wage, and we can't pay the bills. So what's even the point of working? Us Gen Z, us young people, we're prioritizing our mental health more than making corporate America more money. So yeah, that's aside. Oh man, this page ripped. Okay, whatever. Taxes. Now they over here just taking money, and us, our generation, Gen Z, we can see it, that they're just taking our money for no apparent reason. So we just decided to evade taxes altogether. Literally, I paid $170 something to owe the government $10. I filed it with H&R Block. That was just a straight up ripoff. A straight up ripoff. I don't even want to file my taxes. And people want to say, you didn't do it right. Well, more likely I didn't. I don't know how this taxes thing work. Another thing, school. They don't teach us taxes. In school, they don't teach us taxes or any kind of thing with economics or whatever. They don't teach us how to do taxes, how to pay bills, how to do all that stuff and everything. They don't teach us none of that shit. They don't teach us none of that. They expect us to magically get it and serve them and everything. The taxes or whatever. I don't know how to do taxes. I went to H&R Block so they can do it for me, and I paid them $170 something to do it. I wasn't surprised this year for last year's W-2 or whatever. I wasn't surprised that I wasn't gonna get no money back. The first time I ever filed my taxes, I got $3,000 back. Why? Because that's how I got my gaming laptop. I spent $1,100 something dollars, whatever, for that. So yeah, I paid money for that. That first time I filed taxes back for 2021 for 2020, I think. Was it 2020? I think 2020. Filed it in 2021 for 2020. I got $3,000 something back. Why? The tax advisor told me because I didn't get no stimulus check. The government was being generous, okay? They decided to give me that stimulus check via my taxes, which I technically somewhat didn't want, because I had a feeling that the idea of stimulus checks or whatever, the government giving us free money, it's gonna come back to us. So I didn't sign up for stimulus back in 2020 when the pandemic started and stuff like that, because I knew there was a sketch. So I didn't apply, but the government decided to give me the money anyway. Obviously, I spent the money, obviously, by getting that computer, that gaming laptop, the Asus TUF F15 or whatever. That's my game computer. Check out my gaming channel, SydeLeaderRay plays. Okay, it'll be linked in the description below. So yeah, I definitely spent that money, but yeah, that was just the government being generous. Fuck them. Anyway, so for 2022, for 2021, whatever. 2022, I filed my taxes. 2023, I filed my taxes for 2022. I was expecting like a minimum of like, I don't know, $700 something, because I knew I didn't make enough more money and stuff like that. And since the government was being generous or whatever, I didn't expect no $3,000, let alone $1,000. I came back with $47. I was very upset. Honestly, I had a knife in my hand when I get back home. I wanted to punch that in my chest, honestly. Because the government gets on my nerves, taking all my money that I didn't ask them to take. But because they're the government, you are a slave, give me that money, and if you don't, we're putting you in jail. Honestly, at this point, I'd rather go to jail. The taxes thing, man. And then if we screw up something by accident, or because if we screw up something just because we don't know how to pay taxes, tax fraud, now you're in jail. Like, the government want a reason to put people in jail, because it makes them feel like they're God or something like that. They feel like they got power and stuff like that. That's it for Texas. And men not going to war. I'm not going to war. My grandfather, rest in peace to him, died in 2009 or 10. If my biological mother's seeing this, I'm sorry that I got it wrong. I think it's 2009. But he fought in one of the wars. I don't remember which war he fought in, but he fought in one of the wars, okay? He fought in one of the wars. I remember seeing his gun up in that closet up in Chicago. I remember seeing his gun in there in his uniform or whatever. At one point, I was going to hang out with my grandfather, but, he was going to teach me trains and stuff like that, but his health got declined or whatever. I think the diabetes got to him, and he lost his legs or whatever, so he couldn't, work as much no more. So, and, he just got very sickly, and everything, so he ended up dying. So, yeah, there's that. Rest easy. I can't wait to meet my grandfather in heaven, okay? So anyways, yeah, he went to war. Me, I'm not going to war. If I was to go to war, I'm only going because my grandfather did. That's it. This country, no, America, it's not even worth fighting in war. We're not, and we're not even having a war. America, we're not in war, so technically there's no need to even go to war. I understand, bad times makes good men, and nice times make bad men or whatever, something like, you know what I'm trying to say, that saying, whatever. Like, men, we're not fighting war. Men, we're not joining war, so now the women are joining war. Since we're short of men, now they're getting females and women, which, I don't think women should go to war, but if they want to go to war, okay, have fun, I guess. But men, we're not going to war. We're not fighting the wars and stuff like that. I've been approached by a couple military people trying to convince me to go to war. The only thing that's convincing me to go to war, go to the military or whatever, is just the experience. That's it. I don't want to be yelled at all day by the sergeant. Yes, sergeant! And I don't even know how to yell. Look, from a masculine standpoint, I would go, because I'm not saying I'm effeminate, but I'm lacking a lot of masculine traits and stuff like that. I'm lacking assertiveness or whatever. Standing up for myself and stuff like that. Knowing what to do. Yes, I feel like the military will help me in that regards. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to the military. Fighting for wars, to me, is not even worth it. Fighting for war is not even worth it. If World War III was to break out, I'm not fighting. And I found the recent letter of me signing up for selective service and stuff like that. Signing up for selective services or whatever. Because I remember in high school, my 2018, Miss H or whatever, the senior advisor, whatever she was, she over there saying, okay, selective service, where you have to sign this in order to graduate. It's just in case if you go to war. If we go to war, which is rare, but if you go to war, you'll be drafted to go to war. I'm not fighting in war. That's why I'm not fighting war. But you know what? But in order to graduate, you have to sign it. Okay, well, I'll just sign it. So I only signed up for selective service because just so I can graduate. That's it. That's literally it. As far as fighting war, no. I'm not fighting war. If I get drafted, oh well, I just go to jail. That's it. It's that simple. Prison or whatever they going. I just simply go to jail. I'm not fighting for my country. My country have done nothing for me. Look, I appreciate the little privileges down here. Yes, it is a privilege to live down here in America with all this freedom and stuff like that. It is a privilege. I get that. I'm glad to be an American. I'm an American. I'm glad to be an American. Don't get me wrong. But I don't love my country that enough to fight for them. If there was purpose of fighting for my country or dying for my country, then I would. I would rather die for Jesus than my country. My country can screw off, okay? My country can screw off. I'd rather die for Jesus. Because this America's screwed up anyway. So yeah, inflation comes in hot. Ben Shapiro, premiere in 30 minutes. Yeah, yep. Thanks for that. Yeah, because inflation. Yeah. In conclusion, the government, they can't understand the fact why we are deciding to not do what they tell us. We're deciding to just give up and stop serving them greedy asses and stuff like that. And they don't like that. They can't understand that. They can't understand why we're choosing not to serve them no more. All these years, all you did is lie to us, steal from us, and violate us and everything. And now, now we're deciding to stand up for our rights and everything. Stand up for our rights and our constitutional rights. And not even just that, our human rights. And they don't understand. The government don't understand. Screw the government. If you don't like America so much, why don't you leave? Maybe I should. But it ain't no different. It ain't no different anywhere else. It ain't gonna be no different anywhere else. Because of sin everywhere in the world. I'd rather just die. I'd rather just be dead. There's no invitation for the government to just come on up down to my house and, just kill me or whatever. There's no invitation. I like living. This is the first time me being in existence. I want to make the best of it. Even though I'm going to forget it once we're in the new heaven and earth. So there's that part. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. The rain has stopped, thankfully. But I have to crop the videos together, unfortunately. But whenever I have to put videos together, and edit videos together, whatever. What I usually do, like by raw, one take, 10 whatever. The videos are recorded in 1080p, 60 FPS. Whenever I have to edit, I put it in 1080p, 50 FPS. Yes, I go down by 10 frames, to preserve space and and time and all that stuff. Otherwise, the government, they're panicking, and they don't like it. Oh well. Well, you should have treated us better. You should have trained your cops better. Another thing, cops. I don't trust no cops. They violate our rights way too much. They think they're above the law. And they don't even know the law like that. I've been seeing videos of people stand up for themselves against cops or whatever, and I love it. I love the fact that people are arguing back with cops. I hope more people... I'm not saying defund the police. That's not what I'm saying. I don't really support that movement because we do need cops around here and stuff like that. I want to trust the police, but I can't because all they do is violate our rights. I've interacted with very few cops in my life. And guess what? My skin color is black. And not because I was acting white or whatever, but I was just acting, being a civil citizen, not actually doing crimes or whatever. The worst thing I've done has been trespass for stepping on train tracks. That's the worst thing I've done. That's it. So yeah, I'm not officially trespassed. They just gave me a warning. That was it. That was way back in 2019 when Avengers Endgame was released, the night of. So yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say. I'm pretty sure y'all, y'all can relate and everything. I don't like the government. What made me start not trusting the government was in 2016. Why I was trying to figure out why my family was moving, why DCFS coming in trying to take us out, steal us away from our childhood parents, Okay, first I thought there was some special old bus or whatever. Trolley bus or whatever. It's some regular car. I was trying to figure out why in the world DCFS, they gave no fucks at all about separating our family. Look, I get my childhood parents, they were flawed in what they were doing, and they should have spent a little bit more time and more energy and more care and consideration on taking care of us more. I get that part. But there was no child neglect going. There was no, it was just a regular tree cup truck. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There was no child neglect for the most part, with exception mentally speaking. But there was no, my parents, they did everything they can to make sure. I feel like they should have did better. Don't get me wrong. My child parents should have done better. Hence the why they're not even together since their divorce. But yeah, DCFS, they didn't give no cares at all. They gave no cares at all. They were seeding tour to make sure to get to separate us, separate us from our families. I was 17 at the time. No, yeah, I was 17 at the time. Yeah, they was doing everything they can to separate us, pulling us all in the room. Look, I understand that's their job, but that lady, Miss Allen, I don't give a fuck. That's her name. That DCFS lady. Her bitch ass or whatever is doing everything she can to separate us. DCFS is what was the start of me hating the government, not liking the government. My family was innocent. We just had nosy neighbors, a church that hated us at the time. So that was nosy neighbors in a church that hated us at the time, that didn't like the fact we wasn't going to their church, and everything, just because we had our own church we was doing. They didn't like that and stuff like that. They didn't like the fact how our family, how we did our business and whatever. So then DCFS being called and everything. So yeah, and then one of my childhood siblings, misbehaving in school. They felt like that one of my child parents was neglecting them just because, the child was kept being, kept having misbehavior issues or whatever. In the schools, they didn't give no crap at all either. I'm swearing too much. I'm sorry. So yeah, and then realizing why my family was getting kicked out of our house. Like why I understand we have to pay bills and stuff like that. That was fine, but why, all this credit and stuff like that. It was just a lot. And then I realized the government was lying to us. Thankfully, that friend of mine, that freaky friend of mine back in my last year of high school, he's a father now. That freaky friend of mine or whatever, he introduced the earth being flat to me. I immediately declined this offer, but I did research myself and ended up start believing the earth is flat. So, but spoiler, the earth is flat. So yeah, the government lying to us, NASA and stuff like that. I realized the government wasn't 100%. Well, I knew they wasn't always telling the truth, but I thought they were civil people that was for the most part telling the truth. So yeah, but I was wrong. So I don't trust the government. I don't like the government. My generation don't like the government. The government, they don't understand why we don't like them. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Man.